The Urban Council was a municipal council in Hong Kong responsible for municipal services on Hong Kong Island and in Kowloon. These services were provided by the council's executive arm, the Urban Services Department. The equivalent body for the new territories was the Regional Council. The council was founded as the Sanitary Board in 1883. It was renamed the Urban Council when new legislation was passed in 1936 expanding its mandate. In 1973 the council was reorganized under non-government control and became financially autonomous. Originally composed mainly of ex officio and appointed members, by the time the Urban Council was disbanded following the handover it was composed entirely of members elected by universal suffrage. History. The Urban Council was first established as the Sanitary Board in 1883. In 1887, a system of partial elections was established, allowing selected individuals to vote for members on the board. On 1 March 1935, the Sanitary Board was reconstituted to carry out the work which remained much the same until World War II broke out. The board gained a new name in 1936 when the government passed the Urban Council Ordinance, legally expanding the range of services provided by the council, which had been gradually increasing in scope regardless. After the Second World War, the Urban Council received its pre-war form but without any elected members. The work of the Sanitary Department of the government began to separate out from the medical and health service. The first Urban Council meeting to take place after the Japanese occupation was held on 28 May 1946, with the council being empowered to carry out all its old duties: cleaning, burying the dead, running bath houses and public lavatories, orca control, as well as some new ones, such as the use of bathing beaches throughout Hong Kong. Only in May 1952 re-elections returned to the Urban Council when 2 members were elected, and later in 1952, the number of elected members was doubled, the terms of office extended to 2 years and the electoral roll enlarged. Finally, by April 1956, half of the members of the Urban Council was elected by a small minority of the population eligible to vote. The qualifications for eligibility were very complex. For example, a voter had to be at least 21 years of age, have lived in Hong Kong for at least 3 years and must be qualified in at least one of 23 categories, which included educational qualifications, be a juror, salaried taxpayer, or a member of certain professional organizations. More details can be found in Schedule 1 of the Urban Council Ordinance. It was estimated that in 1970 there were 250,000 eligible voters, and in 1981 the number had increased to 400,000, 500,000. In 1960s, the responsibilities of the Urban Council continued to multiply. The City Hall in Central was opened in 1962, followed by the first multi-story markets in Jardins Bazaar in March 1963. In 1973 the council was reorganized under non-government control with financial autonomy, which meant that the budget could be planned without the approval of the Legislative Council. Furthermore, the changes also removed housing as one of its main tasks. Since then, there were no government officials on the council and both the chairman and vice-chairman were elected among the 24 members. At the time, the council was the only one which solely consisted of members of the public. Source: Norman Manners, 1986, The Government and Politics of Hong Kong, p. 167. Source: Norman Manners, The Government and Politics of Hong Kong, p. 224. Prominent elected urban councillors were Elsie Tu and Brooke Bernanke of the Reform Club. The Urban Council celebrated its centennial anniversary in 1983. The Urban Council Centenary Garden was named to commemorate the occasion. An equivalent body, the Regional Council, was set up in 1986 to serve the new territories. In 1994 the council became fully elected based on universal and equal adult suffrage. After the transfer of sovereignty in 1997, the name was changed to Provisional Urban Council, consisting of members of the pre-handover URBCO, and new members appointed by the Chief Executive. Duties and services. The Urban Council provided a spectrum of services to the Hong Kong people over the years. The Urban Services Department was the executive branch of the council to implement policies and services. In 1997, it had about 16,000 employees, according to its published leaflet of service promises. The council's services included recreational venues and activities, libraries, museums, cultural and entertainment venues, ticketing, wet markets, hawker registration and control, cremation, street cleansing, issuing licenses, and operating abattoirs. Arts and culture. The Urban Council had played a significant role in the artistic and cultural development of Hong Kong. It also managed the Urban Council public libraries system in Hong Kong Island and Kowloon, which, upon the dissolution of the municipal councils, was merged with the Regional Council public libraries to form Hong Kong Public Libraries. Cultural events. Since 1976, the council held its major cultural presentation, Festival of Asian Arts. The International Film Festival was another council-sponsored event, taking place annually mid-year and giving Hong Kong people a rare chance to see a range of international film-making, as well as Chinese films. The Independent Short Film in Video Awards were founded in 1993. Museums. The Hong Kong Museum of Art gives regular exhibition of both Chinese and Western art and sculpture and frequently arranges art exchanges with overseas countries. The Hong Kong Museum of History, once temporarily housed in the Kowloon Park, featured the recording of local history and oral tradition. It is now located at Chatham Road in Tsim Sha Tsui. The Hong Kong Space Museum presents shows in the Space Theatre and exhibitions on astronomy, nature and space exploration with IMAX techniques. Arts groups. The council directly financed and often even managed many local arts groups. In 1983, at an evening with the council's performing companies, one of the events in the Urban Council Centenary celebration, the then council chairman, Hilton Cheong Lin, said, "Together with the government, the Urban Council is committed to the development of the arts in Hong Kong. We aim to do so at the professional level so the gifted Hong Kong citizens can develop their artistic potential. We also aim to make available to all members of the community a wide range of artistic performance for their enjoyment and appreciation. And in the not-too-distant future we hope to see Hong Kong recognized as a major international center of the performing arts." The Hong Kong Chinese Orchestra was established in 1977, under direct financial support and management by the Urban Council. The Hong Kong Repertory Theatre was also founded in 1977 and was directly financed and administered by the Urban Council, aiming to promote and raise the standards of the theatrical, stage play, drama in Cantonese in the territory with professional actors, directors, playwrights, administration, training and production. The Hong Kong Dance Company was established in May 1981, and was at one time directly administered by the Urban Council. It aims to combine classical and folk traditions of China with contemporary international awareness. These groups were later taken over by the Leisure and Cultural Services Department when the Urban Council was dissolved. In 2001, the groups were privatized and became limited companies, but still receive funding from the government. recreation and sport. The council operated sports grounds, parks, indoor games halls, and public swimming pools. Sanitation. The council was responsible for street cleansing, refuse collection, and pest control. It operated refuse collection points, public toilets and bathhouses, and was responsible for rubbish bins throughout the urban area. It was also responsible for the control of hawkers, issuing hawker licenses and operating hawker bazaars. Demise. In early 1997, Chief Executive Designate Tung Chhwa announced that the two municipal councils would be disbanded on 1 July 1997 and replaced by two provisional councils, with members appointed by the government, that would serve until elections in 1999. Tung said that those reappointed must love China, love Hong Kong, and refused to clarify whether democratic politicians met this definition. The announcement caused a row at the Urban Council and was unpopular with the public. Likewise, the pre-handover government opposed China's decision to disband the two councils and the 18 district boards, and to reintroduce appointed seats, which had been abolished under democratic reforms. The post-handover Provisional Executive Council met in May 1997 and drafted new legislation that would allow the Chief Executive Designate to appoint members to the new provisional bodies. 3 bills reintroducing appointed seats to the post-handover municipal councils and district boards were passed by the provisional legislature on 7 June 1997. The Urban Council, Regional Council and District Boards Bills 1997 stipulated that Tung Chhwa could appoint no more than 50 seats to the provisional municipal councils. Frederick Fung, chairman of the ADPL, called the bills a retrogression of democracy, while Chan Kam Lam of the pro-Beijing DAB asserted that elections were divisive and appointments would stabilize the community. Also on 1 July, elements of the Urban Council Ordinance and Regional Council Ordinance were repealed to allow the government to determine the composition and tenure of the councils. After the handover, the council was disbanded and replaced with the Provisional Urban Council, which comprised pre-handover councillors plus new members appointed by the new government. The same was done with the Regional Council. The government then announced that the councils would be abolished in 1999. Both councils jointly objected to this plan, putting forward an alternative merger proposal entitled One Council, One Department, which was not accepted by the government. Both councils were dissolved on 31 December 1999 as planned. Within days of the dissolution of the Urban Council, its distinctive symbol was systematically removed from public sight, such as by pasting over it with paper on all litter bins and information boards. Shortly afterwards, all the litter bins were themselves discarded, replaced by a similar design, but in green rather than purple. The duties of the councils were taken up by two newly created government departments, the Food and Environmental Hygiene Department and the Leisure and Cultural Services Department. The archives of the two municipal councils are held by the Hong Kong Public Libraries, and are available online in digitized form. Chairman. Before 1973, the chairmanship was occupied by the Director of Urban Services, ADRO. Sales, 1973 to 1981. Hilton Cheong Lin, 1981 to 1986. HMG Forsgate, 1986 to 1991.